What is up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I'm financial coach Jess, and in today's video, I am going to be blasting one of my biggest pet peeves, and that is penny pinching and why frugal living is keeping you broke. I've been teaching college grads how to get out of debt for a couple years now, and when I first started, I thought that the issue of broke college grads was way more simplistic than it actually is. I naively thought that everyone was just spending uncontrollably and they were wasting their potential on trends, fads, keeping up with the Joneses. And don't get me wrong, that is still true a lot of the time, but the solution is not frugality. What I have found is that the people that truly want help, they realize their potential, they stop their overspending, but instead they're on this pendulum that swings back entirely to the other side of this issue, and they jump on this huge bandwagon of frugal living and minimalism. And they don't find freedom. They don't find wealth either. Ironically, they find themselves in a very similar situation, except instead of being a slave to debt, they are now a slave to this subculture that would rather die than spend $100 on a nice meal. This frugal living culture is, for the most part, super toxic and is directly rooted in a poor money mindset. In my experience of working with individuals and families, the frugal mindset and penny pinching mentality is first brought on by necessity and is then adopted as a lifestyle in an unhealthy way afterwards. And there have certainly been times, even in my life, where I was forced to be frugal. I was forced to penny pinch for a very short amount of time in order to get on my feet. The difference is I didn't stay there. I value my time too much to stay there. There are so many better uses of your time than constantly cutting expenses or constantly searching for the absolute cheapest option. Here's a very recent real life example for you. A few months ago, I purchased Audible so that I could listen to more books throughout the year when I'm walking, running, driving, doing chores, whatever. And this was a really tough decision for me. Audible itself is a subscription and it's not cheap. And then on top of that, you also have to buy the books with credits on Audible. And it's definitely annoying when I have the library for free. However, spending my money this way and investing my time into listening to these books has been absolutely incredible and 1000% worth it. I'm currently reading Tax-Free Wealth by Tom Wheelwright, and guys, the information in this one book alone completely outweighs any frugal living advice that I could possibly follow. And yet, Audible is kind of looked down upon as lazy or luxury, but in my eyes, it's just simply working smarter and not necessarily harder. The frugal living culture is not this way. They are very grind and hustle, and that is just not an investment mindset. Another big issue that I see with toxic frugal living is that it is way harder to correct than an overspending lifestyle because the mindset is so ingrained. Let me say it this way. If I have two totally different clients and one struggles with overspending, it's very evident right away that we need to rein that in. So we'll focus on that, and then we'll also go over her financial priorities so that she feels in control of her money while also feeling confident. The other client thinks that she has a spending problem because she's spending more than what's coming in each month, but after looking at the numbers, it's very clear to me that she doesn't have a spending problem, she has an income problem. In those two scenarios, 9 out of 10 times, it is going to be so much harder for that client to raise her income than the other client who just needs to cut back on her spending. And it's not because making more money is harder. It's actually, I think, a lot easier. The issue is the mindset of the second client. And here's the harsh reality for all of the frugal Kool-Aid drinkers out there. Times change. It was super effective for families in the 1950s to be frugal and save wrapping paper at Christmas and to coupon before going to the grocery store. Frugal living is keeping you broke because for the most part, it's all about changing this outward behavior and completely ignores your money mindset and how you view wealth. If that statement makes you uncomfortable, I really want to challenge you to continue watching this video all the way to the end so that you can hear some really concrete examples. After that, I highly recommend you watch this video here where I talk about the results and benefits of wealth. Before we get into the examples, I don't want to downplay that accepting the fact that you have a poor money mindset is going to be difficult. This may be a huge shot to your pride. I went through this exact process when I became an entrepreneur, and I've been very open about the fact that I've had to completely change my mindset when it comes to money, and it was difficult. All of this was such a huge wake-up call for me several years ago as a coach. College grads need help tracking their expenses, sure, but the root of the issue will not be solved until we unpack their money mindset and start to heal their relationship with money. Now, I know some of this is starting to sound kind of woo-woo to you. What I want to do in the next part of the video is give you some concrete examples of what people say when frugal living has become a very toxic part of their life. Example number one, a clear sign of a toxic money mindset from a frugal follower is when someone reacts with, "I could never spend money on this or that," or "how dare they spend their money on X, Y, or Z." Frugal virtue signaling is a thing, and it's annoying. Nothing about being frugal makes you morally superior to someone who chooses to spend their money differently than you. And guys, I know I'm using very strong language in this video, but it's because I feel very passionate about this. I fell into this frugal rut and I had a terrible money mindset for so long, and I want to ruffle feathers. I want to rock the boat and wake people up from this trap. Back to frugal virtue signaling. Once you become aware of frugal virtue signaling, you can't unhear it. It sounds like these rants. Have you ever heard someone just rag on the wedding industry and how much people spend on their weddings? It usually sounds something like, "How can people spend so much money on their weddings? I bought an $18 wedding dress and I've been married for blah, 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 how many years, and I absolutely loved my wedding, and I can't believe people just blow money like this." That's a really popular rant in the frugal community. Other popular frugal rants include spending money on coffee or spending money on any food or drink for that matter. Frugal virtue signaling stems from a poor money mindset because money is a tool. It's meant to be spent. It's currency. And just like I talk in this video here, money is an exchange of energy. When you start to train yourself that spending money for enjoyment is bad, you're on a fast track to self-sabotage and not to freedom. Example number two is that toxic frugal living leads to hoarding and is deeply rooted in the fear of being ripped off. The scarcity lifestyle that comes with toxic frugal living is devastating. This looks like the family that penny pinches to take one trip as a family. When things don't go perfectly, they have a huge meltdown. Why is this? Because for months, maybe even years, they scrimped and they saved to take this one trip together. So if they get ripped off, or if something doesn't go as planned, or if something that they spend money on is disappointing to them, they have this huge breakdown and it ruins the entire experience for them because this was it. Every little thing that they spend money on carries so much weight because cost is everything to them. It's funny to me because the frugal community absolutely prides themselves on not caring anything about money when actually the opposite is true. This community, this culture probably more than anyone else, completely revolves their life around money and the act of not spending it. Do you see how this is not healthy? When something breaks, it is absolutely devastating for them. When a trip is a flop, it just crushes their spirit. And when mistakes are made and money is lost, it's catastrophic for them. This is exactly why their goals stay so small. They take zero calculated risks like starting a business, becoming an entrepreneur, or even just increasing their streams of income. And like I mentioned earlier, they inadvertently become slaves not to debt, but to this frugal living. Example number 3 is they don't understand opportunity costs. The frugal community makes 90% of its decisions not based on value, but based on cost. Opportunity cost is one of my favorite things ever, and I've actually already done a full video on opportunity cost. So make sure you check out this video here. To summarize, the gist of it is that the frugal community prides themselves on spending 10 hours to make something that costs $5. And I get if it's a gift or a one-off exception or whatever, that's totally a non-issue. But it's when you make a lifestyle out of this, it leaves people very broke and confused. Let's dive into cost versus value. I kid you not, when I have seen literal threads on Facebook and on Instagram of people bragging about how little they spent to get something. And don't get me wrong, I'm all about getting a good deal and finding something on clearance or on sale and, sharing what you got. But here's the thing, making a lifestyle out of how little can I spend will keep you broke. I know that this may sound counterintuitive, but here's just a quick list off the top of my head where spending the least amount of money you possibly can will 100% burn you. Number 1 is your health. If you skimp on supplements, food, care, preventative care, this will come back to burn you. Number 2, professional services. Contractors, plumbers, electricians, accountants, coaches. You get what you pay for in this area. And when you want things done right, it's so much better to look at the value rather than the cost. Another area, number 3, are cars. And number 4, big home repairs like windows, HVAC, a roof. I could go on, but I think you guys are understanding the difference here. And the big thing I want you to walk away from this part of the video is you get what you pay for. I can't tell you how many times I've sent out bookkeeping proposals to small businesses and the response is, this is just too expensive. I can't afford it. If the situation is right, sometimes I'll ask the business owner why they're letting go their current bookkeeper or why they're looking for a new bookkeeper in the first place. And a lot of the times the answer will be, well, they just don't communicate with me like I want them to, or they just don't do the books correctly, or they just don't do a very good job. And I'm like, you get what you pay for. I cannot stress that enough. The die-hard frugal community just completely disregards opportunity cost and most of the time places cost above value. This was a really tough message today and it's been brewing in me for a while. I really wanted to address the mindset issues that are within the frugal communities because I believe they are largely disregarded. There's nothing inherently wrong with being frugal. Like I mentioned earlier, I love finding a good deal and I have been known to use a coupon every now and then, but frugality as a lifestyle can be super toxic to your money mindset and can be extremely difficult to course correct. If this is you, if you are waking up from this toxic frugal culture and you want to make a huge lifestyle change, but you're not sure about what next steps to take, I would love to invite you to my 100% free masterclass for college grads who are looking to get out of debt and build wealth. This training is jam-packed. I recently had someone watch the training and she messaged me back immediately and said, wow, oh my gosh, I just felt like you were talking to me in this video. She followed through with the action steps that I have within the training, and she was able to make huge changes already in her life. Click the link below, register for the training, and watch it right now. You guys will not be disappointed. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for future videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.